Okay, I think we've got everything up and going. I'm just going to check the volume levels, make sure they're all okay. I'm just going to go and pop over to say intentions as well and put us on the radio check channel so we don't get talked over while we're getting the airplane ready. So, we are in Flight Simulator 2024, but on the ground at Stansted Airport in London we have the Inibuilds A340-300 in front of us. This is not the new A340 that Aerosoft will be releasing in collaboration with Tolis in the next few days. I believe it comes out tomorrow. But I thought it would be good tonight to have a look at the Inibuilds A340-300 just to remind ourselves how good it is, because it is very good. And we'll take it for a flight. We're using Say Intentions, as I said, in the background, or as you just saw. Say Intentions will be providing air traffic services during the flight and aircraft injection of other aircraft. I haven't flown the A340 or any Airbuses for a while, so I'm going to be rusty. But I have got a functional procedure at hand. I will try to remember how everything works and try to recall the knowledge I once had about Airbuses. We'll see how we get on. Okay, so we're going to go and jump inside the airplane to begin with. And press Alt and 1 to go overhead, and you'll see it's very dark at the moment. So we're going to zoom in the gloom up here and go and turn the batteries on. Okay, and you can see we have got external power available, A and B, which gives us even more light. So then we're going to go down to the external lights down here. Actually, should we go and see about some dome lights first? It is super dark, isn't it? So I'm just looking here. Here's the dome light. If we go and put this on, there we go. Okay. So, external light section, we're going to go and make sure the strobe is on auto, and it is. And then nav and logo can go to 2. And then the APU section, master switch goes on, and then start the APU. You can go and put the cruise supply on. And then signs, emergency exit lights goes to armed. And no smoking goes to auto. Okay, so further overhead we'll go and set the ADIRs to go in the line itself. So all 3 systems go to nav. Then back in the cockpit we're going to go and check the brightness of the screens. They're probably fine for the moment. We might dim them a bit later on. And the the engineering screens and the ECAM screen, that all looks fine. You can see the APU coming up over here, so the percentage is climbing. It isn't providing power just yet. So while we're waiting for that, let's go over to the tablet and sort out our flight. So I've already planned the flight using Simbrief, so we don't need to plan it. If we go and have a look. Oh, by the way, this is the checklist I'm working through. So there's a link to it in the notes of the video. So if you're playing around with the Inibuilds A340-300 and you want a really simple functional procedure of everywhere to look, what to click, what to press, what to turn, everything along the way, then this is the document. Okay, anyway. So we have got this flight planned in from Stansted over to Berlin. So if we go to My Flight, and then import from Simbrief, it should come in automatically, and there it goes, Stansted to Berlin-Brandenburg. Okay, so we're going to go to the payload and fueling app within the tablet next. And then I'm going to follow my own instructions for a change. Click on Import All from Simbrief. Simbrief does make it very straightforward to do all of this stuff, otherwise you have to go and read the operational flight plan in detail, and then click on Instant Load. So we'll do Instant Load Fuel and Instant Load Payload. So we're going to go over to the Takeoff Performance app next. And we're going to click Sync FMGS and then sync the weather as well. and then click on calculate, and it will work out the v-speeds for us. There it goes. And also, you can send the data over to the FMGS already. So we'll go and click that, data sent to FMGS. So this is basically, you'll see a page, I'll point it out when we get there, in the MCDU, or the multi-purpose control and display unit, which will allow us to pre-fill the data from these numbers. So if I go and press Alt and 3 on my keyboard, we see the MCDU, and we can press the clear button to get rid of the stack of messages that have been building up while we've been doing things. Then we can go and press the init button, waiting for system response, and we can immediately do an init request. So this will pull from Simbrief. So there's our basic routing information, and then we can press clear to get rid of the message at the bottom, and then go to IRS init. Just make sure that's populated, it's all good. Okay, then we're going to go, here we go, look, company message received. So we'll have a play with that in a moment. So we'll go, actually let's do it now, shall we? MCDU menu, ATSU, and then AOC. I'm not sure I've got this documented actually, this is new, or it arrived recently. So received messages, and it's going to be the load sheets. So select load sheet and accept the load sheet and return. And notice the text got smaller. And then we can go back to where we were. We were in it, weren't we? So waiting for response. So we're going to go sideways in init, and this allows us to set up the block fuel. So we'll go and select block and select 0 fuel weight, and it will pre-fill itself based on the data from the tablet. And then once we've done that, we can go over to the flight plan page and we can go and put in our procedures. So we've got the basic routing already in, that's what we've loaded from Simbrief, but you'll notice there's discontinuities because loading the route in doesn't give you the standard instrument departure or the standard terminal arrival route. So let's go do that. So departure from Stansted, and we'll refer to Simbrief to see what we're supposed to be doing. Runway 22 and the Clacton to Echo standard instrument departure. So runway 22 and the Clacton to Echo, and insert that into our flight plan, and you should notice that the discontinuity has vanished because Clacton was the first waypoint that it could get to on the route. So then we're going to select Berlin. This may change while we're en route, but we'll pre-program it now based on the flight plan we've been given. So we're going to be coming into runway 24 right on the OGB 1 Lima. So ILS Zulu 24 right and OGB 1 Lima. And there are no transitions, so we'll insert that. Okay, so if we just scroll down through, yeah, it goes to end of flight plan, look, so there's no discontinuities, it all knits up nicely. Good. You can, if you want to, if we press shift and space, you can do what's called a gross flight plan check. So if you rotate the mode of the navigation screen right to plan, it will show you where the airplane is and the plan below it. If we increase the range on this to make this a bit more obvious while we're doing it. Notice it simulates how slow the screen is to update on these older aeroplanes. And then you can scroll through the flight plan. So if we press the up arrow, it's the equivalent of moving all of this past, and you'll notice this has got SSW01. It's the second line, maintains the central point in the navigation display. So as you do this, look, you can see it moving along the route. So we're just going to look for anything that looks strange or odd along the that, you know, not expected. So there we go, there's a really nice diagram actually of the star and the final approach into Berlin Brandenburg. Okay, so once you've checked the flight plan, you can put this back on arc mode. You can go and press flight plan to put this back up to the top of the screen. And we can go and do the performance data. So we press perf. Oh, we got another company message received, so we'll clear that. Let's go and do that first. So ATSU and then AOC. and received messages. And we got another load sheet. Notice the latest one is a bigger font to make it stand out. So we're accepting the load sheet again, and we come back. And we were doing the performance data, weren't we? So we're just waiting for the system. Here we go. So notice we could fill all of this in by hand, but because we calculated it on the tablet and sent it to the FMGS, we can say confirm takeoff data. And it does it all for us. Okay. So we can clear the messages out. And we are pretty much good to go in terms of programming everything into the aeroplane. So next thing then, we'll go and uncage the backup attitude indicator. We're going to go and press comma to set. Oh, have I set the weather? I think on the last time. Yeah, look, last time I was using the simulator, I didn't have live weather on. I'm just going to go and turn it back on. Otherwise, it won't play nicely with the Simbrief flight plan and the weather the fuel predictions. They'll be wrong. So, so I'm going to press comma again, and yeah, you'll see the altitude change. Okay, so shift and 7 and 8 will bring us over to here. I'm going to do it from this angle. This is the FMGC, or Flight Guidance Control Panel. So we're going to go and turn on the flight directors, both sides, and then configure the navigation mode. So we're going to be using managed mode anyway, so speed mode is managed. So basically when you push the knobs towards the aeroplane, you're telling the aeroplane do what you think based on the programmed flight plan. Yeah, if you pull them, if you click the bottom half of them, it pulls them towards you, and then you get to make the decision. So towards you is you doing it, pushing it towards the aeroplane is the aeroplane doing it. Okay, and we're going to go and set this. Actually, we don't know the initial altitude yet, so this is the point we're going to go and start talking to air traffic services. So first of all, we'll go to ATIS at Stansted. Famous last words. 12718. Why is that not talking to us? AI chatter paused due to aircraft not moving. That's not very good. What's the information? How can we get that then? This is an option of say intentions, and it's actually stopping us from doing our job. Request. I'll just press. Actually, I'll show you a feature of say intentions. What we can do. I can either talk this through or I can miss it out. Let's miss out. I can't find out the information at the moment because I can't call ATIS because this is not letting me talk, or it's not letting comms come through. So I've got a question in the live stream actually. Someone's saying, is this the Inibuilds Stansted or the default enhanced one? It's the default enhanced one. So, which is very, very similar to the Inibuilds Stansted. As far as I can tell, they just haven't got the licensing for the figures in the terminals. But the rest of it looks pretty much identical. So if we go to clearance, and we'll talk to them. Actually, let's try radio check first. Let's see if that will give it a kick. So we will be Lufthansa 073 this evening. Radio check for Lufthansa 073. Oh, do I just need to turn the radio on? Is that why it won't work? 118010. No, that's correct. Let me go and check the settings of say intentions to make sure it's all correct there. So it's saying COM1 is off, look. Headset. COM1. Default audio devices. Default audio devices. Microphone is Logitech. Okay, that's the problem.
This is what COM1 sounds like.
It's now working. So let's try that again, shall we? Lufthansa 073 radio check. That's got the wrong number, bizarrely, but anyway. It's not playing ball, is it? Let's just give say intentions a recycle. It's being a bit of a so-and-so by the look of it. So I'm just going to wait for any traffic near us to disappear. See, because say intentions is obviously handling the injection of aeroplanes around us. I know you can press new flight as well. I'm just trying this as a bit of a nuclear option to see if it will fix itself. It's worth pointing out, say intentions is under continual development, heavy development. So let's go check this again. I'm just intrigued actually that it had the wrong call sign just there. Lufthansa 073 is correct. Interesting. So let's give it another go on the radio check channel. Lufthansa 073 radio check. So that's keying on the mic. I think it's just coming out of the wrong device, you know. So if I say Logitech gaming headset,
this is what COM 1 sounds like. This is what COM 2 sounds like.
Approaching runway 24. Caution, caution. Approaching runway 24. Caution, caution.
okay, so it seems to be working. Lufthansa 073 radio check. You can see the injection's already happening now. This is odd, something's going on, isn't it? Clearance, Lufthansa 073 radio check, please. Okay, so it is saying that the comm radios are off. But they're not. Let's try that once more, then maybe it was me all along. This may be new, or maybe I've just missed it. Lufthansa 073 radio check, please.
Lufthansa 073.
It's working, hurrah! And clear. So it was me all along. It was this button. I don't think the volume does much. It's just there for, you know, if you want to do real procedure training, then there you go. So yeah, like I said, I was going to make mistakes tonight, and there we go. I've missed out the VHF button. So we can now go and proceed with what we were trying to do in the first place.
Transition level 70.
There we go. Let me just check you're hearing that as well.
Altitude, and if flight
Yes,
following
you are.
is requested. Read back all runway and hold short instructions.
So information mic
Advise on
is the
initial
most important
contact.
thing
You
that we
have
need to know.
information mic.
Clearance Lufthansa 073 requesting clearance to Berlin as filed with information mic.
Give me 1 second for that clearance.
I haven't got a pen anywhere nearby, otherwise I would quickly write down, so I'm going to cheat slightly and I'll get their transcript to read back to them.
Lufthansa 073, cleared to Berlin via the Clacton 2 Echo departure runway 22. Initial climb to 4,000 feet.
That's the important bit we're after.
0.625, squawk 4741.
Cleared to Berlin via the Clacton 2 Echo departure runway 22. Initial climb 4,000 feet, departure 120.625, squawk 4741. Lufthansa 073. So 4741 over here. So we press clear.
Lufthansa 073, read back correct.
Let's go
Ground
over
is
here
on
to do it.
121.73, safe flight, sir.
4741. 47. Oops. Clear. 4741. Put this on auto, and that's on. That can stay on standby for the moment until we start moving. And 4,000 feet. So this is what we were really looking to get hold of. We're going in thousands, so 4,000 feet. And it's a managed climb up to 4,000. So we're not using vertical speed, it's going to essentially use VNAV, as other airplanes would call it. Managed climb in an Airbus. Okay, so we can get on with the rest of the checklist. So let's go and go overhead. Seatbelt signs go to on, because we're going to get ready for moving the airplane around. So seatbelts go here. External power can come off. We've obviously been on the APU for ages. And then we're going to go down to the ground equipment app to remove the GPU from the airplane and remove the chocks away from the airplane. And we have got pushback controls here. Should we try them? So pushback started. If we go and sit up in the air, we should. Is it an invisible tractor? You never quite know, do you? Oh, it's right underneath the nose. We can't quite see it. If I put head tracking on, oops, wrong key. If I put head tracking on, we can maybe see the tree. He's right underneath the nose, isn't he? I've turned the parking brake off, and we're going backwards. And we are being pushed the right way for a change as well, which is quite nice. So, obviously we could start the engines while we're being pushed back, but I'm not Spider-Man, I haven't got arms in all directions, so I'm going to wait for the pushback. I'm not sure if this will stop the pushback automatically, so we'll be ready to stop it. I don't think it's going to, look. So I'll stop the pushback. And they're just going to let us roll off. So we should see the tractor pull away before we go do anything to the aeroplane. He says, famous last words. Where's the mysterious tractor gone? Ah, there he is. Yeah, he was right underneath the nose, look. Okay. Let's turn head tracking back off for the moment. So, Alt 1, we're going to go and put the beacon lights to on, which signifies the engines are going to come up. We're going to go and put the fuel pumps on. So, if we go further up, you could do this during pushback if there's two of you doing it. Makes it a lot easier. APU bleed goes to on, which is down here somewhere, and I can't remember. There it is. And then we're going to go and rotate the ignition switch to start. So that's down here. I'm going to do it on my physical controls. That will change the ECAM screen to show the engine status. I believe, yeah, we can do the engines in banks. So we're going to do 1 and 2 first. It's very quiet in the cockpit, isn't it? It's not going to be so quiet for very long now, because we're going to make ourselves noisier. So it's all fully automatic on the 340. Okay, so once these are available, we'll start engines 3 and 4. Of course, we're a long way away from the engines, which is what makes it so quiet. Okay, so engines 3 and 4. So you can see the N2 numbers climbing there. That's the axle speed of the gas turbine. Once it gets to about 20-25%, the fuel flow will kick in, it will get ignited, the exhaust gas temperature will shoot up, and then the turbofan speed will increase dramatically. There we go, look, there comes the fuel, there goes the temperature, and there goes the turbofan speed. So while we're waiting for that, let's go and have a little look on the takeoff performance calculator, flaps 1 we want. So flaps 1. As soon as the ignition is finished, that's done, ignition can go back to norm, and that will change the status to show wheel conditions now. It's fairly automatic with what it shows you according to the phase of what you're doing. So APU bleed can go back to off, so overhead, APU bleed off. The APU master switch can now come off, we don't need the APU anymore, and we can prepare to taxi. I've already done the flaps. So back down in the cockpit, we're going to go and turn the we don't need TCAS on, but this is on auto, so that should be fine. So it's going to be reporting our position. PWS goes to auto, that's the predictive wind shear. Arm the ground spoilers. And rotate the parking brake to off. Nose wheel light goes to taxi. And then we can taxi to the runway, but before we do that, let's put the parking brake back on for a moment. Before we do that, let's go and have a look at the airfield chart for Stansted. So this is where we are, and we're going to now call across to, let's just make that a little bit less see-through. We're going to call ground on 12173 and request taxi to runway 22. Stansted ground, Lufthansa 073, requesting taxi to runway 22.
Lufthansa 073, runway 22 taxi via Bravo West, Bravo Hotel Romeo.
Taxi via Bravo West, Bravo Hotel Romeo to runway 22, Lufthansa 073. So we're going Bravo Romeo there, like. That's fine.
Ryanair 25 Sierra Echo contact tower on 123.805. Tower, Ryanair 25 Sierra Echo.
Should we have a look at this mount side?
Lufthansa 073, contact tower on 123.805, bye-bye.
Contacting tower 123.855, Lufthansa 073, good day. I'll do that as soon as we get to the holding point. least we've got no traffic in our way this time. Tower, Lufthansa 073 at holding point for runway 22. I think that was our communication and it hasn't worked. Oh, they gave us the wrong frequency. Oh no, they gave us the right one. I read it back wrong and then I clicked the wrong one. That's interesting. Stansted Tower, Lufthansa 073 at holding point for runway 22. That's cool, isn't it? So it amplified the mistake.
073, heavy Stansted Tower, runway 22, cleared for takeoff.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 22, Lufthansa 073. So we need to put auto brakes on max. I'm just looking at the list of screens here. So takeoff config test has to be done, and
runway 2,
the cabin checks should be happening right now. Yep, they've happened. Okay, let's put the brakes on for a second.
2 remaining. 8,700 feet.
So landing lights go on, strobes can go to solid on. I'm just checking round some bits and pieces.
Runway 2.
So we've done
remaining.
everything except the takeoff config test.
700 feet.
So if we press that, that should go to normal. There it goes. So we're good to go. So open the throttles, parking brake off. Put the head tracking on so we get to look around. So throttles all the way through to Toga. Watching the indicated airspeed ribbon for the rotate speed to come through.
V1.
Okay, gear up. Autopilot on.
Lufthansa 073, contact
throttles
departure
to
on
climb.
120.625.
Contacting departure 120.625, Lufthansa 073, good day. Stansted departures, Lufthansa 073 with you, departing on the Clacton 1 Echo departure, climbing to 4,000 feet.
Lufthansa 073, heavy Stansted radar identified, climb flight level 100.
Climbing flight level 100, Lufthansa 073. I'm just looking at the, I forgot to turn on the TCAS, it's not going to be a massive issue. So they've told us to do climbing without SID. I might confirm that with them. Let me go and do TCAS first. I forgot to turn it on. There we go. Stansted radar, Lufthansa 073, just confirming, do you want us to climb directly to flight level 100 or via the SID?
Lufthansa 073, climb flight level 220.
Okay, we're going to go direct. Climbing 220, Lufthansa 073.
Lufthansa 073, climb directly flight level 100.
It's now giving us mixed instructions. We're going to go for 220. Okay, we'll do what they said. We're going to go directly to 100. So we pull towards us, and that does an open climb. Okay, so we're going to raise the flaps now. So the aeroplane was following constraints there. It'll still hit 250 knots as a constraint below 10,000 feet. Should we turn the brightness down?
073, contact London Control on 121.23.
Take the ground spoilers off. Contacting London Control, 121.23, Lufthansa 073. Good day. London Control, Lufthansa 073 with you climbing to flight level 100. And we now have gone through the transition altitude, so we need to go to standard barometric pressure.
London Control identified. Good evening.
So throttles are in the climb descent, so that means the auto throttle's kicked in automatically. So it's managed speed, managed heading, and an open climb to 10,000 feet or flight level 100. So there's a question in the live stream. Someone's asking, is the A340-300 the only version Inibuilds have done of the A340? As far as I'm aware, yes. Let's see if we can get higher than London Control. Lufthansa 073 now at flight level 100, looking for higher.
Lufthansa 073, climb flight level 220.
Climbing flight level 220, Lufthansa 073. So you can see the demand on the engines and where they are. It's really cool, isn't it? So let's increase the range now. And go and have a look.
Lufthansa 073, climb flight level 280.
Climbing flight level 280, Lufthansa 073. So, Daz in the live stream is saying that he likes the fact that I explain things as I go.
Charlie,
I try
Bravo,
to.
Juliet, direct final. Cleared for the ILS runway 06 right approach, descend and maintain altitude 3,000 feet until established. Altimeter 1016.
Down to 3,000, cleared for the ILS 06 right approach, Golf Charlie, Charlie Bravo, Juliet.
So,
Golf Charlie, Charlie Bravo, Juliet, contact Duxford information on 122.08.
Over to Duxford information on 122.08, the Golf Charlie, Charlie Bravo, Juliet.
yeah, the only downfall of explaining as I go is often I will forget what I'm supposed to be doing. So I'll be answering somebody's question and I'll miss something out, or just skip a step in the checklist or something silly like that. So the thing that was missing out of the instructions today, which is obviously an update to the aeroplane, which I have seen before and I still haven't updated the instructions, is to make sure that the VHF radio is turned on for the comms to happen. So one of the new tricks that Say Intentions has got is if you look in, where is it, intercom. So we've got the co-pilot on the channel 1, then we've got, I haven't got anything on channel 2, look, so we could have cabin crew on the second channel. So we'll ask for Laura in the cabin, and then
Lufthansa 073, climb flight level 340.
I'll come back to this in a moment.
Dear guests, the use
Climbing flight level 340, Lufthansa 073.
cabin service will begin shortly. Thank you for your attention and enjoy the flight with Lufthansa.
So, what I've done is, Say Intentions provides intercom around the aeroplane, so you can have artificially intelligent voices that you can talk to while you're en route. So on the first channel, I've got Amanda. I'm going to ask Amanda to take over. So Amanda is sitting next to me. She is the co-pilot today. And she's going to take over radio comms. So I'm just going to key the mic and ask her to do that. Hi Amanda, can you take over radio comms for the next few minutes, please?
I'll take over the radio comms for the next few minutes.
So she will hear the radio coming in and she will respond for me so I can chat with you guys. So also we have the cabin crew. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn the seatbelt signs off early and then tell the cabin crew they can let everybody get up and have a wander about if they want. So seatbelt signs go to auto and we'll say, hi, this is the captain. You can let the passengers get up and wander around now if you want. So I've essentially got 3 buttons that I can use for these things.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have just climbed through 10,000 feet. The seatbelt sign is currently on, and we kindly ask that you remain seated with
See,
your
they're
seatbelts
holding
fastened
the
to
rules,
side
aren't they?
Cabin service will begin shortly. Thank you for your cooperation.
So what we could do then, and there's a third option now where I can talk directly to the passengers on the PA, and the cabin crew and the co-pilot will hear it, and they will then, it will become a part, in AI terms, it becomes a part of the context of their understanding of the flight. So what I'm going to go do is go and press flight plan and then go sideways. Actually no, let's go and look at the
Lufthansa 073,
ETA.
flight level 390.
Climbing flight level 390, Lufthansa 073. So what we're going to do...
Flight level 390, Lufthansa
I forgot.
073.
I asked Amanda to do it, didn't I? There we go. It's old habits die hard. So what we can do is have a look through, and we can see we're anticipating arriving in Berlin at 22:43. So let's go and talk to the passengers and tell them that. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the captain speaking. We are looking for a fairly quiet flight this evening. Good weather all the way to Berlin. We should be arriving at about 22:45. If there's any further news along the way, I'll let you know. So you can talk to them, and the rest of the crew will hear that. So it may steer what the cabin crew tell them. I could tell them to go and buy a load of duty free and keep the cabin crew busy, couldn't I? Okay, let's go and increase the range way further out now, because we're basically at high altitude now, following our flight plan. You can see other aircraft appearing now, and they're at a more distant range. So if we have a look, we'll be able to see those guys on the map from LittleNavMap, hopefully. And there they are. They're appearing on our radar. If we increase the range further, we'll probably see even more. Or not. So, yeah, we've got a 200-mile leg there, look, out across the top of the Netherlands and Western Germany. If we look at the sectors, you'll also see the
World
handoffs.
Express 455, contact Brussels Control on 128.2.
Yeah, so if you go and look here,
for World Express 455, good day.
we'll pass into Amsterdam airspace when we cross over that line. At the moment, we're in London, look. So you'll get a handoff happen between the air traffic control sectors, and that's where Amanda will kick in and respond to the message and change the radio frequency for us. very cool, isn't it? Some of the toys that are in these systems these days. So, what are my thoughts on the A340 previews? I'm hoping. I really am. I grew up in the high fidelity simulator world, if you want to call it that, with the Tolis A320 or A321 in X-Plane many years ago, and it was wonderful. It says something that the Tolis developed aeroplanes are certified as being accurate by Airbus Industries. I'm not sure. Is the Phoenix in Flight Sim certified? I'm not sure if it is or not. There's an aeroplane going directly under us, by the way. Can you see the little nav lights down there? He's at a lesser altitude than us. There he is, look. KLM. He's at 20,000 feet. We are at 27. Go and look outside. He just went under us, didn't he? Oh, I thought he did. The grid you can see down here, by the way, is offshore wind turbines. Oh, there he is, look, he's gone whistling past. But yeah, this grid over here is offshore wind turbines. What lights have we got switched on? Okay, yeah, the landing light should have been off by now. And so should the nose. Again, like I said, I get talking and I forget to do things. We should have done that at 10,000 feet. Yeah, so I'm guessing you can go and I'm reading the live stream comments. You could go and look on the Phoenix website and they'll say whether that certification has been passed through to the flight sim model, but certainly the Tolis Airbuses in X-Plane were certified. What that certification means, I don't know. Whether it just means the systems are accurate as portrayed, I don't know. I would say though that an accurately modelled Airbus shouldn't feel like you're flying an aeroplane. You're directing it. So you get some really odd things that you can then do, like say you come off the runway, if you're just throwing the aeroplane around, not using the autopilot. Say you rotate off the runway and tip the plane over to say a 20-degree angle with 20 degrees nose up and let go of the stick. It should just carry on in doing that turning climb in a stable robotic manner. You shouldn't have to fly it, if that makes sense. You direct the nose and let go, and it will continue going the direction you pointed it. Because you are essentially acting as a human flight director in an Airbus. You're not really flying the aeroplane. Okay, let's go and increase the range over on the co-pilot side as well.
Lufthansa 073, contact Amsterdam radar on 118.805.
Okay, so now you'll get to hear Amanda do the handover.
Switching to Amsterdam radar on 118.805. Lufthansa 073.
So if we go and have a look on, you can see that we've just gone over the border between the sectors. So we're in Dutch airspace now.
Amsterdam radar, Lufthansa 073. Good evening, flight level 310 for flight level 390.
Lufthansa 073, Amsterdam radar, identified. Evening pilot.
Should we ask Amanda if she wants a cup of coffee? Hi Amanda, do you want a cup of coffee?
No thanks, Jonathan. I'm good.
Should we ask the cabin crew? Hi cabin crew, can we get some coffee in the cockpit please?
Understood, Captain. We'll bring coffee to the flight deck now.
I think we're going up to flight level, yeah, 390. We've been cleared up to cruise now, so we're good. So there's not much left for us to do. This is the beauty of Airbuses, that you program the flight in and the aeroplane takes you to the destination. Obviously, once we get to top of descent, we've got some things to do. But for the cruise part of the flight, unless, you know, something happens en route, and it's worth pointing out, say intentions can simulate that. So let's go and have a look at its settings. I'm trying to remember what it calls them. And yeah, unfortunately I'm not sure if I'm allowed to show you what's in the preview or experimental tabs. But you know, you may get an event while you are en route. So for example, during a launch of a SpaceX rocket, there is a potentially a sector may come into use to clear aircraft out of an area. Another reason might be, you know, volcanic eruption or something like that, where you, or you know, a conflict happening on the ground, as is going on at the moment. So you may get an area of airspace that you're not allowed into anymore, and it might appear while you are in flight. That say intentions can simulate that now, and it does simulate it, and you can switch on and off the likelihood of it happening. So, you know, while you're flying along, you'll suddenly be diverted away from your original flight plan. So you need to keep your ears open for the radio, if
Captain,
you've got that switched on.
The coffee is being prepared and will be delivered to the flight
We've
deck
got
shortly.
another company message, by the way. So, company message received. Let's go and have a look. MCDU, ATSU, AOC, and then received messages. And it's the ADC, so this is the delay. So yeah, ADC delayed 10 minutes. In other words, while I was busy talking to you, we delayed ourselves by 10 minutes from the anticipated time. So it says report reason for ADC delay. I don't think this version of the Airbus actually has it programmed. So on the Phoenix you can actually respond, and you can look in here and oh, where is it? Maybe it doesn't have it. Certainly on the Phoenix you get a table of ADC codes. Is it in here?
073, contact Dutch Mill on 125.903.
So if you're doing this, you know, in a fully accurate system,
Dutch Mill on 125.903.
let's have a look,
Lufthansa 073.
see what they give us. So if we come back in here to ADC, can we do an ADC report? Delay, here we go.
Dutch Mill,
There we
Lufthansa
go.
073. Good
So
evening.
why were we
Climbing to
late?
Flight level 360 for flight level 390.
We'll say, can we say that the live streamer was talking too much?
073, Dutch Mill, identified. Good evening.
A miscellaneous. There we go, 99 is miscellaneous. So we'll go delay code 99. And it delayed us by 10 minutes. And we can send that back to base. There we go. So the aeroplane's told us how late we were from the predicted departure point. I mean, it doesn't really do anything in terms of the sim, but it's quite interesting, isn't it? You're following real-world communication procedures. So we've got out-of-tank transfers happening, and we're anticipating in the next few minutes to get to top of climb. You see we're still climbing. There's a running joke. The A340s, or certainly the earlier A340s, are somewhat underpowered compared to lots of other aeroplanes. And there's a running joke that they don't climb, they fly in a straight line and the rotation of the Earth causes them to climb.
073, contact Amsterdam radar on 120.555.
Or the curvature of the Earth, I should say, causes them to climb. They just fly in a straight line.
Switching to Amsterdam radar on 120.555. Lufthansa 073.
Amsterdam radar, Emirates 59 Tango, flight level 360.
Amsterdam radar, Lufthansa 073. Good evening, climbing through flight level 370 for flight level 390.
Oh, I can't believe we got 50 people watching the live stream.
Amsterdam radar.
We're in cruise as well, there's not much to see or do. Just making our way across Germany in the night. So you can see we're coming up towards halfway. We can anticipate the time when we get to top of descent, 22:05. So the time now is 21:40, so in about 25 minutes we'll get to top of descent. So there's the current time in UTC. Of course the clocks are going to change for us. Has the US already changed their clocks last weekend? I know it's coming up for us. Oh, here comes Lee in the live stream comments. Good evening, Lee, nice to see you.
Emirates 59 Tango, radar contact.
Yeah, let's see how many people we can get to click the like button on the video while it's happening. To be honest, I never chase traffic in the simulator. I've never done it. I'm the world's worst self-marketer. But I don't like kind of begging people for likes or follows or subscribes. I put the content out, and if it's useful to somebody, that's enough for me. And I know that's probably not the best way to be if this ever became a full-time gig, but I think I don't like people that overly market themselves and spend 5 minutes at the end of each video telling you to go and click on here, there or the other. I'd rather just share the content, and you can make your own mind up if you want to subscribe or like. And again, somebody asked me the other day and said, do I do any of this in the real world? No, this is not my day job. Flying is not my day job. I do not have a pilot's license even. This is just something I'm interested in, and I started doing this completely by accident. A few years back, I inherited a computer from my dad. And until that point, I hadn't had a flight simulator on my computer for many years because we had young children. We just couldn't afford a computer that was good enough to run a flight simulator. So I didn't, because you know, your money goes on other things when you've got young children in the house, like clubs and activities and whatever else, and clothes and endless pairs of shoes and all those sorts of things. But anyway, I inherited a computer from my dad, and for many years he had been a part of a group on the internet called My Air that fly together.
The cabin crew will now begin the snack and beverage
I'll just wait
service.
for the announcement.
We invite you to enjoy our delicious pretzels and refreshing beverages from our Lufthansa menu. After the service, selected items from the Lufthansa shop will be available for your convenience. Thank you for your attention.
So I got hold of this computer, and the first piece of software I bought for it was X-Plane 11. At the time, Flight Simulator was FSX or P3D. So I thought X-Plane was by far the better simulator, so I went and got X-Plane 11. And the best aeroplane, or the best commercial aeroplane at the time that was free, because again I was budget conscious all the time, was the Zibo mod 737 for X-Plane 11. And I learnt it over the course of a few weeks, and taking part in group flights and working my way around the aeroplane. And a few of the people in the group said, would you mind recording a video to show the walk around of starting the aeroplane up?
Contact Dutch Mill on 120.83.
I'll just wait for the radio comms.
Switching to Dutch Mill on 120.83, Lufthansa 073.
No, she's going to change radio frequencies and
Dutch
talk.
Mill, Lufthansa 073. Good evening at flight level 390.
Lufthansa 073, Dutch Mill identified. Good evening.
So, as I was saying, a few of the people in the group, because they had seen me flying the Zibo 737, they asked me if I could record a short video and stick it on YouTube, which I'd never done before for anything like that. I didn't know about OBS, so I had to go and figure out how OBS worked. And I recorded a couple of instructional videos and typed up, you know, some text to go with them. And that was the end of that. And then a few months later, the traffic started to go up on them. And then by then I'd recorded a few more videos in a bit more detail, and also a 737 pilot had reached out to me and given me a load of feedback on things I could improve that were slightly wrong, or things that people in the sim community often get wrong. And most of it was just the naming of things, of calling things the right name, as you're like the fuel control levers or the start levers.
Lufthansa 073, contact Amsterdam radar on 127.78.
Oh, we are going between lots of sectors, aren't we? What's going on? Oh, it's just busy. We're going in between lots of sectors. I don't think in the real world you'd be handed off this many times.
127.78, Lufthansa 073. Amsterdam radar, Lufthansa 073. Good evening, with you, flight level 390.
So, ever since I was doing the Zibo mod video, it's all been
073, Amsterdam radar identified. Good evening.
It's all been kind of a snowball rolling down a hillside. So, you know, recording the one video led to recording more videos, and then suddenly one day YouTube informed me that I had enough subscribers to monetize the channel. And this was just based off a load of X-Plane 11 videos. So, following that, yeah, the channel got monetized. I started to lean into it a bit more because I realized I could fund buying my aeroplanes for the simulator by making videos of flying the aeroplanes. It's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. And it paid for itself, which my other half was, you know, over the moon about, because
Amsterdam
then I wasn't
radar,
spending housekeeping money on aeroplanes.
Flight level 330.
And it just grew from there.
43, radar contact.
So then when 2024 came out, or sorry, when 2020 came out, I started, I made a community online called Virtual Flight Online. And literally because I didn't know many people to go flying with, and I wanted some people to go flying with. So I built this community, and we organised group flights regularly and published that they were happening on the 2020 forums. And before we knew it, we had thousands of members. And we were always very strict on the group flights of saying, you know, like no hate speech, no swearing, no dirty jokes, nothing like that. It had to remain family friendly. And by and large, it made sure that Virtual Flight Online has always maintained really good quality communication and conversation during the group flights. You don't get too many idiots ruining it for everybody else. And they get banned pretty quickly if they do. But yeah, off the back of that, so I used to share the group flight videos, or live stream them, and that's what, around the same time, fibre broadband appeared, and we lucked into getting fibre broadband in our street. So that's when I started live streaming. Before that, I used to have to record everything and upload it, and it would often take several hours to upload. But live streaming, fibre broadband changed everything. It meant I could live stream an awful lot more. So typically if I go within the simulator now doing something, I will live stream it. So someone's asking me to change the modes away from constraints. Constraints is useful when you're on departure or arrival,
Hey, Captain.
but
First
if you go
officer,
and put
would you
AirPods
like
on,
anything to drink or a small snack?
you get
I
to see.
promise our coffee is better than the last flights. At least it won't keep you up all night.
But I need the coffee to keep me awake. Should we ask them that? I need some strong coffee though. It will keep me awake. It's really late. Let's see what they say. They're usually quite conversational if you
Understood,
engage them.
Captain. We will bring strong coffee to the flight deck now.
How many of you are working this evening?
There are 4 of us working this evening, Captain.
And what are your names? Let's see what it can make up.
The names of the crew members are Pierre, Marie, and Jacques.
Do they normally do this route, or have they come from other flights?
They are typically on this route, Captain, but some may have connections from other flights.
Who's your favourite?
That's a tough question, Captain. I appreciate all my crew members for their hard work, but I
Oh,
suppose I have a soft spot for Marie. She's always so cheerful and keeps the atmosphere light.
it's great, isn't it? Let's ask the cabin crew when their birthday is. When is your birthday?
My birthday is on April 15th, Captain. Captain, just to continue our earlier chat, the crew is quite excited about this evening's flight. Pierre is always cracking jokes about the catering, saying he prefers the coffee over the meals. It's a light-hearted atmosphere up front, and we're all working well together.
Oh, well done. You're doing a great job. Keep it up. Isn't it good that you can do this in the simulators
Thank you,
these days?
Captain. I appreciate your kind words, and will continue to ensure everything runs smoothly. You know, Captain, Marie has this knack for making even the most mundane tasks feel enjoyable. Just the other day, she turned a coffee run into a mini dance party in the galley. It's those little moments that really keep the crew's spirits high during long flights.
So anyway, coming back to my kind of history with the whole, all the videos and everything, the most unanticipated thing was the amount of feedback I get in email from retired pilots. I get some of the best stories emailed to me. Unfortunately, I can't obviously share them because they are not my stories to share, and sometimes they are hair-raising. But one of the ones that I have been allowed to share, because I asked if I could, was about the guys that used to fly a mail run route late at night in a turboprop to some islands off the coast of the UK. And
Lufthansa 073, expect the Ojiba 1 Lima arrival. Prepare to descend in roughly 20 minutes.
so Amanda should answer that.
Oxford 1 Lima arrival expected. Preparing for descent in about 20 minutes. Lufthansa 073.
So yeah, I was telling you a story about the turboprop pilot.
Lufthansa 073, contact Bremen radar
My
on
word.
125.025.
What sector are we climbing into now? Transferring into?
Switching to Bremen radar on 125.025. Lufthansa 073.
You can also see these sectors, by the way, if you go to the map in here. So if we close the view card and go back in here and go to the en route map,
Bremen
depending on the
radar,
zoom
Lufthansa
level.
073. Good evening at flight level 390.
Lufthansa 073, Bremen radar identified. Evening, sir.
If we zoom out a bit further, yeah, it simplifies itself somewhat. It's not perfect, but it's better than nothing. So yeah, we just transferred like in between these areas. So I was telling you the story about the turboprop pilots. They used to play games with each other to remain awake, because obviously, yeah, you're flying a droning aeroplane late at night. You've only got the pilot and the co-pilot on board, and maybe a loadmaster, depending on what sort of plane. And they would scare each other to stay awake and sharp. So one of them noticed the other was starting to nod off, so he pressed the fire test switch and kicked one of the rudder pedals really hard to make it, to simulate an engine failure. And he said, "Oh my word, you've never seen somebody wake up so fast in your life." But yeah, I get some wonderful feedback from people via email. It's been the most unanticipated joy of sharing the videos and sharing my journey with learning things, because that's all I'm really doing, is just sharing stuff as I learn it out to the community. I do take a lot from the professional pilots that create content for YouTube. We all know who they are. I'm not going to try and remember all the names because I'll miss some out and then they'll get butthurt probably. But yeah, I do watch the professional pilots doing their stuff, and I glean a lot from them about, the way they do things. It's very, very cool. I completely agree with feedback in the live stream that Inibuilds did a cracking job with this aeroplane. It's really good. And if you turn on head tracking, it looks very, very real. It's a marvellous bit of kit. It's a clear night, isn't it? A few bits of cloud. So hopefully we'll get a nice, although saying that, there's some weather right in front of us. Did we get a weather radar? Let's go and WX, put it on system number 1. Might have to turn the range down a bit to get it to work. Oh no, it's working, you can see it. It's right out at the limits of the screen. That's that stuff you can see out there in the dark. You can see it's right on the outside. If we increase the range again, will we see it? Yeah. So it's not a lot of it, look. It's just some bits and spots of heavy cloud out there. But it looks like we're going to maybe potentially get some rain over the airfield. We'll find out when we get there. We'll resolve it in a bit more detail. So Gary's saying that I convinced him to subscribe to Say Intentions. I think Say Intentions is wonderful. Yes, sometimes it goes wrong, but on the whole it increases the immersion within the simulator enormously. It's no longer just you on your own anymore, is it? And obviously before the AI systems came out, the way around that was to do group flights, which I still do, and lots of other people still do. I don't get to do them as much as I would like, but I end up in this situation late on an evening, so at a time that suits you, you can jump in anywhere in the world and have a world happening around you. And that is just fantastic. So you have fully staffed air traffic services wherever you're going. The alternative before this all came along would have been to use something like VATSIM, and then you're constrained to wherever they've got controllers. So you're kind of chasing the controllers in terms of planning your flights, and then you get the frustration of you're midway through a flight and the controller you were relying on being there has checked out for the evening. But yeah, it's okay, Say Intentions isn't perfect, but it's getting better really quickly. I mean, they're introducing GA traffic at the moment, so you get people practicing circuits on the weekends and things like that at the little regional airports. It's great fun. And of course all the regional accents of air traffic services that they inject as well. So just reading the live stream comments there. Yeah, someone's mentioned about the upcoming TriStar. I am so looking forward to that. From what I've read, it's quite unique in terms of the avionics suite. It's nothing like anything else. I wonder if Inibuilds are going to do the TriStar, if they might do the VC10 as well. Although there were never many VC10s built, there's only about 40 or 50 of them, wasn't there?
Tango Quebec. Descend and maintain flight level 220. Cleared for the Goxley 1 Romeo arrival into Leipzig.
Descending to flight level 220. Cleared for the Goxley 1 Romeo arrival into Leipzig, Postman 1 Tango Quebec.
But yeah, the only reason I mentioned the VC10 is I grew up very near to RAF Bryce Norton, and that had VC10s and TriStars based there. They were obviously all ex-commercial aircraft that had been purchased by the RAF and turned into tankers and transport planes of various descriptions. But the VC10s, there has been an accurate VC10 developed for an earlier simulator, but I think the flight model was rubbish on it, but the systems modelling was good. VC10s had a bit of a nightmare of a guidance system. And this is back in the days when I think they had 3 crew. You had pilot, co-pilot and navigator, or engineer. They may have even had 4, thinking about it. But anyway, yeah, the navigation systems, obviously they were of their era. They were from the late 50s, early 60s. But the other attraction of the VC-10 is that it was the quickest plane in the sky throughout its life, other than Concorde, obviously. But VC-10s were fast. I did get to have a walk around a VC-10. Our next door neighbour, when we lived over near RAF Bryce Norton, was an officer. He was actually an ex-fighter pilot, and he ended up teaching people to fly the VC-10s, I think, at RAF Bryce Norton. So, you know, after he retired, or after he... How do they put it? When you're no longer a fighter pilot, you rotate out, I suppose, of the loop. So when he ended his career as an active fighter pilot, he ended up flying VC-10s for a few years, and ended up teaching other people how to fly VC-10s. But yeah, he took us onto the base one evening, and we got to have a look around, you know, close up to the VC-10s and how they were put together. The story that always stuck in my mind is the tanker versions of the VC-10s. I think they all became tankers in the end. They had the cameras pointing out the back, so they could watch, you know, where the aeroplanes they were refueling were behind them. And it was just on about the kind of the dysfunction of decision making in the RAF. Bearing in mind this would have been in the 1990s or late 1980s, early 1990s. Somebody, when they made their decision of the cameras and the video cameras so that the aircrew could monitor what was going on behind the aeroplane, somebody chose to use black and white cameras and video cameras, which by then nobody made. So they had to be made specially and cost a fortune. Which that story has always stuck with me. I don't know why. Okay, we're coming up to top of descent, so should we go, and I'll take over talking now away from Amanda. Hi Amanda, I will take over radio communications now. So what did they tell us earlier? OGB 1 Lima. Is still the same as the flight plan, isn't it? Let's go double check it. OGB 1 Lima, yeah.
Okay, Jonathan, you're in charge of the radio communications now.
So we are talking to, or Amanda has been talking to Bremen Radar, so that's who we're going to talk to. Bremen radar, Lufthansa 073, beginning descent into Berlin on the Ogbit 1 Lima standard terminal arrival route.
Lufthansa 073, descent altitude 5,000 feet.
Descending 5,000 feet on the Ogbit 1 Lima star, Lufthansa 073. So what we'll do, you'll see, look, we're not quite at top of descent yet, and that's quite instructive because you'll see something interesting. So I'm going to press the knob towards the aeroplane, which means it's a managed descent, which means it will follow the constraints and the speeds automatically. So look at what it's doing. It's going to go to 1,000 feet a minute and hold it there. And you will also notice this dot is moving away from the center. This is the descent profile. Because we are descending slightly before top of descent, we're only descending at 1,000 feet a minute. So we are going below the profile. Once we go through top of descent, the profile will catch back up with us because we are only descending at 1,000 feet a minute. And at the point we catch it up, we'll start descending more steeply. And you'll see it happen. And you can see the radar is kicking in, you can see rain clouds out there, and yeah, it's all around us. Look. So if you keep an eye on this, you'll see it catch up. So we should also, yeah, look, company message received, so we'll clear that message. We'll just go and check. That might be the one from earlier, actually. I don't think I cleared it. If we go ATSU, AOC, received messages, and oh no, we've got a telex. ADC delay reason accepted, no further action required. Okay, they took my miscellaneous report. So the other thing we were going to go and do is go and look in performance, next phase. Before it asks us on here, it will ask in a moment automatically, but we're going to go and put the data in for the destination. So we need to go and look up the information for Berlin and go for the weather, and the temperature on the ground is 11 centigrade. So 11. QNH on the ground at Berlin is 1014 hectopascals. The wind is 230 degrees, 12 knots. Program that into there. And this is the minimums. So you need to go and look at the approach chart. And it will tell you down here normally, look. So if you've got radio altimeter, or radar altimeter, you can go for the lower number, otherwise you go for the barometric. So we're going to say I'll go for the middle one, shall we? 103. You can only do one or the other, you can't do both. Okay, and it's saying it's going to use full flaps. You could use flaps 3 if you wanted to, but we're going to use full flaps. It's pre-programmed to do that. So that's all the data put into the aeroplane about the approach. So we should be good to go. So while we are coming down, we will keep an eye on this little chart over here. This tells you what flap level you can have at which speed. So flaps 1 at 250 knots or thereabouts, flaps 2 at 196 knots, flaps 3 186, full at 180. So that's a handy little chart to look at when you're deciding when you can bring the flaps in. And you'll notice that the aeroplane is struggling. Notice it started descending more quickly, so we're caught up with the profile. It's struggling to hold the profile, look. It's doing it, but we need to keep an eye on it. So the reason that might happen is the wind varying around. So you can fall behind the profile on the descent. So typically you'll just be coming down and gliding, essentially. But sometimes if the wind has changed during the flight and the data in that it's using to figure out what you can do, if it doesn't match up, you may end up not being able to maintain the descent profile that you want. Say if you've got a tailwind, so you're being blown further down track faster than you can descend. So in which case you use the spoilers. So spoilers will always help you descend more quickly.
Lufthansa 073, contact Bremen radar on 120.355.
Contacting Bremen radar 120.355, Lufthansa 073. Bremen radar, Lufthansa 073, descending to 5,000 feet on the Ogbe 1 Lima Star into Berlin.
Lufthansa 073, Bremen radar identified, service.
Okay, so we just keep an eye on that profile and that the aeroplane's able to maintain what it's trying to do. Keep an eye out for other aeroplanes as well. Should we see if there are any constraints? We can look on the chart obviously as well. So flight level 120 it's aiming for at Ogba. Let's go and have a look and acquaint ourselves with what the Ogba 1 Lima. What's the difference between these two then? Hardly anything, okay. So you can see we're descending in to try and get to flight level 120. You can see it's here. Look, we need to be below 120. Then above 8,000 feet, above 6,000 feet, and then above 3,000 feet for the finals. So notice we've also got some speed constraints going on, max 220 knots. Well, we've got a couple of minutes. I'm just keeping an eye on this. Well, we've got a couple of minutes. We could pull that up over here, couldn't we? This does show charts. So if we go charts and look at the Berlin charts, and we want the Ogbe 1 Lima, don't we? Oh, that's only going to do the airport search. We don't want to do that. Where are the approach? What's the actual name of this chart? Let's have a look. Oh, sorry, it's up here, isn't it? It calls it 22B Ketap and Ogba. I'm terrible at finding these things. Or in this display anyway. Oh, we can do it here, look. Arrival. I'm being so dozy. Arrivals. Ketap and Ogba 1 Lima, there we go. So you can see it in here as well. And you can turn it into night mode, so you get to see it. So it doesn't burn your eyes out when you're looking outside in the dark. Very cool. Of course, we can put head tracking on as well and start looking around the cockpit. We need to go and put the seatbelt sign back on, don't we? It's on auto, but we'll turn it on to on. Hi cabin crew, can you prepare the passengers for landing, please?
Copy, Captain. Preparing the cabin for landing now.
So there's some feedback in the live stream, or a question. Is Flight Simulator on the PlayStation the same experience as the Xbox? I don't know. I've never played it on the Xbox, and I've never played it on the PlayStation. I've certainly read about them.
Contact Berlin approach on 121.13.
Contacting Berlin approach 121.13, Lufthansa 073. Berlin approach, Lufthansa 073, descending to 5,000 feet on the Ogby 1 Lima Star into Berlin.
Lufthansa 073, heavy Berlin approach identified. Good evening. Expect the ILS X-ray runway 24 right approach into Berlin.
Expecting the X-ray 24 right approach into Berlin, Lufthansa 073. So we need to go and change that route slightly. We put Zulu in, didn't we? So arrival. Ogby. So ILS 24 right, X-ray. We've got Zulu. So let's go and scroll through them. 24 left. ILS X-ray 24 right, there it is. And insert that in instead of what we had previously. Have I just knocked out? Yes, I have. Famous last words. Right, so arrival. I forgot to put the star on. ILS X-ray 24 right. And Ogby 1 Lima, insert. And we need to go direct Ogba because it's messed up the flight plan there. So if we go flight plan and go direct to Ogba. There we go. That was a classic, do as I say, not as I do. So what's the transition altitude? Let's go and have a look in Navigraph. They usually have it on the ILS charts. This is the Zulu chart, we actually want the X-ray chart, so let's remove that. Select ILS X-ray 24 right, that's the one we want. Add to route. Let's put the Zulu in. Remove. Select. Am I going blind? X-ray 24 right. Oh. No, it hasn't actually got it listed. The interface is rubbish for that, isn't it? Anyway, that's it. We can overlay it. And we can make that a little bit brighter. Oh, it's keeping on the airplane, really. So coming down to 12,000 feet, the thing I was going to look up in here is, 5,000 feet transition altitude. I'm going to forget about Navigraph being a so-and-so. And we'll concentrate on what we're doing. So it's airplane struggling to slow down to get to 250 knots to go below 10,000 feet, so I'm throwing the spoilers out to help it do so. Let's bring the range down now on the navigation display. You'll see the constraints being marked in as well. So we need 220 knots as well as being able to get to the altitude. You can hear the noise of the spoilers. Whoa, look at that nice view through the clouds over there. So take the spoilers back off and the noise will go away. So we're about to come down to 10,000 feet, so we'll go and put the landing lights on. That looks quite spooky out there, doesn't it? So you can see, look, we've appeared on the chart and we're flying along the plot to go into Berlin. The weather radar is still lit up like a Christmas tree. So we're doing 250 knots. Let's go and improve the range on the co-pilot display. Okay, we're in the cloud again. Let's keep an eye on the instruments. Should come down out of this cloud soon and get a nice view of the city. Yeah, it's just starting to descend a little bit more quickly, look. So we'll dip below the cloud base fairly soon. So someone's saying, is it realistic to have this much light? No, it isn't, but I wanted people to be able to see. We should go to the dome light and reduce it somewhat. Oh, it won't let me look. That's interesting, isn't it? I'm just going to turn the head tracking off for a moment. Okay, so we've turned it down to an extent. We've still got 15 miles until the 220 knot marker, so we're not in a hurry. It's quite a long star, isn't it? If we look outside, we might be able to see the airport over there. It's directly... oh no, it's in the cloud over there, you can't see it. That's a shame. So transition altitude was 5,000 feet, remember. Let's go and double check. So yeah, the thrust is coming off now. I'm not going to use the spoilers unless I have to. You can see we're approaching the constraint, but the speed is coming off. We're only 20 knots away from it now, look. So we can start to bring the flaps in. So flaps 1 was at 250 knots. Flaps 2 was at 196 knots. So we can't go flaps 2 just yet.
Clever 7227 contact Bremen radar on 119.63.
Over to Bremen radar on 119.63. Clever 7227.
Okay, we're just going to go while we're doing the approach
Clever
through here.
7227, climb and maintain flight level 140.
Up to flight level 140, Clever 7227.
Why is that not showing us? ILS X-ray. I mean, we can just use Zulu for the moment, because it would be the same frequency. So 109.9244 degrees. I just want to see that so I can go double check it. So if we go nav radios, 109.9244, that's perfect. So let's go put the head tracking back on. Of course, because it's late, there's hardly any other traffic around. If we have a look on LittleNavMap, we can see if there is any other traffic. No, there's a couple of aeroplanes just departing, but nothing else coming in. Not right now, anyway. We can change that story dramatically if we wish to. I'm not sure if it's wise to do it while we're in the air and near approach, but we could go into, say, intention settings, go to traffic injection and turn it up. So we could go wallop. I'll take it to 10 and I'll put traffic plus on as well and take it to 10. And let's see what happens. So watch how many aeroplanes appear. It's working out again, look, it's resorting the aeroplanes that are nearby. So they'll reappear in a few moments. We've got time because we're doing this big old racetrack. Let me turn sectors off. The reason this is showing all sorts of vectors on here is because I have monkeyed with it en route and it's not happy with me. Okay, so we have to hold 220 knots until we get to the end of here. Then we turn around and then we'll be looking to engage the glide slope and localizer in a few minutes' time. So hi to everybody that's saying hello in the live stream. Sorry I'm not responding immediately, I'm kind of busy at the moment. So they've cleared us to 5,000, which is the transition altitude. So at that point we'll go and switch back over. So let's go and have a look, just to refresh our memory. If we open the weather for Brandenburg, 1014 hectopascals on the ground on the last report. So we'll push these towards the aeroplane and dial them in once we get to 5,000 feet. When that will give us an accurate altitude on, altitude reading relative to the ground.
Contact Berlin Tower on 118.805.
118.805 for EG7036.
And I've somehow managed to have two lots of say intention settings open, which is great. So that should mean we've got other traffic around. Yeah, you can see other traffic has arrived. There's other stuff on approach now. So say intentions is doing its job of slowly increasing the traffic around us, even though it's late at night coming into Berlin.
France Soleil, Nina 612, contact Berlin Tower on 118.805.
118.805 for France Soleil, Niner 612. Good day.
So let's have a look and see if we can turn the lights off any more than we already have.
Bremen, radar on 136.45.
136.45 E Delta Hotel Lima Oscar Lima.
It does get quite dark, doesn't it? That's a bit too dark, isn't it? Shall we put this on? Just trying to find a happy medium where you get to... Yeah, that's probably good enough, isn't it?
Lufthansa 073, heavy, proceed direct, Charlie India to Romeo X-ray. Descend flight level 050 until established on the localizer. Cleared for the ILS runway 24 right approach.
Proceed direct, Charlie India to Romeo X-ray. Descend flight level 050 until established on the localizer. Cleared for ILS runway 24 right approach, Lufthansa 073. So, if we go and have a look and look on our legs ahead of us and go scroll this up, there's CI to Romeo X-ray. So if we go direct, we can just scroll through. We've basically been given permission to just go straight past all of these interstitial waypoints and go straight in for the ILS. Look at that, it's got rid of the speed restriction by doing that. Interesting. I wasn't expecting that. So it's saying it's going to decelerate again, look, when we get closer to it. So basically by going direct it's allowed it to speed up to get to that, and then it will get rid of the speed again. So let's have a look at the map so you can see where we are. We're still quite a way out, look, about 25 miles away. But we're on track to come in straight down the pipe, basically. You can see some of the other aeroplanes around in the airspace around us. If I go and put head tracking on, you can see them look around us in the sky. That's a star. There's an aeroplane over there. Any more on that side? See, look, Amanda's looking for them as well. Okay, so throttle is going to pull back and let us start slowing down, hopefully. If I go and put this onto landing system mode, you can see there's the localizer. And here comes the glide slope. So if we go and engage approach mode before we get there, we're in Cat 3 single at the moment. We can go, once we're in approach mode, we can put both autopilots on and you'll get Cat 3 dual show up. So then, obviously because approach mode is on, the aeroplane is pulling itself over to get onto the approach, and there's the runway directly in front of us. Here comes the glide slope. We'll start descending on it fairly soon because we're at 5,000 feet. You can see barometric pressure is lit up, so we need to change this to 1014 to make it accurate.
Lufthansa 073, contact Berlin Tower on 118.805.
Contacting Berlin Tower 118.805. Good evening. Berlin Tower, Lufthansa 073 with you, 5,000 feet, engaged on the localizer for runway 24 right.
Lufthansa 073, Amsterdam radar identified. Hello.
You're not supposed to be Amsterdam, you're supposed to be Berlin. That's gone wrong, hasn't it? That's funny. Berlin Tower. Berlin Tower. Lufthansa 073 with you, 5,000 feet, engaged on the localizer for runway 24 right. So speed is coming off, which means we can, let's go and help it. I'm going to throw some spoilers out. More flaps. So what was the next speed that we can go for? 186 knots for flaps 3. There we go. Gear down. And that's full flaps now, and take the spoilers away. Now got lots of drag. I'm just going to reset the view, so let's go and fly this in, shall we? I'm going to turn the autopilot off. Okay, this is me now. Give the wings a wiggle. Cool, this is a big heavy lump. Doesn't like doing anything in a hurry. I'll leave the auto throttle on, so I'll just steer it down. 140 or 150 knots by the look of it at the moment. So headwind 27 knots. Did they actually give us landing clearance yet? I think this has gone wrong.
2,500.
Berlin Tower, Lufthansa 073, radio check please.
Lufthansa 073, roger, readability 5.
Tower, Lufthansa 073, engaged on localizer, runway 24 right.
2,000.
Lufthansa 073, roger, continue approach, runway 24 right.
Yeah, something has gone wrong there, hasn't it? They were identifying as Amsterdam instead of Berlin. So at the moment we're looking a little bit high on the glide slope, but looking at the PAPI lights.
Descend, crossing, descend, crossing, clear of conflict.
So that was TCAS giving us notices about the nearby aeroplanes. You know the aeroplane that went over the top of us a moment ago?
Approaching runway 24 right.
That's a big old heavy lump. The wind is slowing down as we get lower, which is always useful. Don't reckon much to the yaw dampers. Little bits of aileron control are making the nose skew left and right quite alarmingly.
200.
Whoa. We had wind shear then. on full reverse. And off the reverse, onto the wheel brakes. We're not going to make that exit. Go for the next one. I had full aileron to the right for a couple of seconds there in the dying seconds of the approach. That was interesting. So we should get handed off to ground. Just get off the runway first, hey? They've not handed us off, have they? Which is quite disconcerting. So we'll just hand ourselves off to ground then. Ground 121705. Berlin ground, Lufthansa 073 requesting taxi to the gates.
Lufthansa 073, Moin, taxi to Terminal 1 Gate B11A via Lima 3, Papa 2, Charlie, Victor 3, Victor Charlie. Have a good day.
Taxi Terminal 1 Gate B11A via Lima 3, Papa 2, Charlie, Victor 3, Victor Charlie. Thank you. So let's go and have a look at where they mean. I always like figuring this out myself rather than using... There is a wonderful tool in Say Intention where it will give you a dotted line. Lima 3. So we are on Lima 3. Papa 2 is directly in front of us. Charlie is there. And then Victor 3, Victor Charlie. So that's Victor 3. And the actual gate B11A. So it's going to be along here somewhere. So
Easy 6486 ready.
Directly across, turn right, sorry, turn left, turn right.
Roger, pushback approved. Easy 6486.
Suntalk 8270, contact tower on 118.805.
Over to tower, Suntalk 8270.
There's the terminal building. So next right, and then follow the routes through to it. I think we go for the second exit on the right here, which would be V4. Did they say V3 though? I don't think it really matters, to be honest. We'll go V3. But seeing as we're going to be, we know we're going to be gate 11 on this main building. So yeah, I'm going to scoot us across onto the nearer.
Ready to taxi.
It's going to be a job to see the numbers, isn't it?
332, runway 24 right taxi via Foxtrot, Charlie, Lima 8.
Runway 24 right taxi via Foxtrot, Charlie, Lima 8 with Malta 9er 332.
Yeah, trouble is this is only an AI built airfield. I'm going to go and pull up the taxi chart for
Weather 8456.
So that's the weather. We want info. Where are the charts gone? Airports. BDDB. Charts. There we go. Taxi charts. That's... There we go. 11. B11 is there. Way further along.
Condor 90201, runway 24 left, taxi via Victor 2, Alpha, Mike 8.
Runway 24 left, taxi via Victor 2, Alpha, Mike 8, Condor 90201.
Ready to taxi.
Easy 4023, runway 24 left, taxi via Echo Bravo, Mike 8.
Runway 24 left, taxi via Echo Bravo, Mike 8, Easy 4023.
Well, it's one of these. Without paintwork on the ground, it's a bit of a guessing game. So I'm going to just choose.
Weather 8456, ready to taxi.
Wizz Air 8456, runway 24 right, taxi via Foxtrot, Charlie, Lima 8.
Okay.
Runway 24 right, taxi via Foxtrot, Charlie, Lima 8.
So we don't have to actually tell them anything about reaching the gate. We can turn... Actually, I'll leave stay intentions on because there's other aeroplanes around, which makes it kind of interesting. So what we can do, now we're here on the ground, is go back into ground equipment, attach the GPU to the aeroplane, GPU attached, attach the chocks to the aeroplane. As soon as we have done that, we can go overhead and switch over to using external power, and as soon as we've done that, we can turn the engines off. And then as soon as we've done that, we can go and turn off the fuel pumps. And turn the cruise supply off. We can go and turn off the ADIRS system. Go and turn some of these lights off. Taxi light should have been off. Actually, yeah, beacon light should have come off on the... with the engine stop, the strobes are on auto anyway. Taxi light should have come off. We can put the seatbelt sign off. No smoking goes to back to off. Disarm the emergency lights. I think that's about it. Of what the things we have to do. Well, you don't have to do any of this. It's just nice to do things correctly, isn't it? Okay, so aeroplane is pretty much ready to go cold and dark, but we're not going to do that. Let's go and see what we can plug into the aeroplane outside then. So we can go and arm the door. Actually, can we get the jet bridge? Toggle jetway. Will it connect it? Is it going to be that one? Yeah, it depends on the airfield, and it's not going to. Not with an AI airfield by the look of it. So let's go and toggle ramp. Ramp truck toggled. And transit the door. Oh, they're going to go for the door next to the engines. Looks like it, doesn't it? We'll close that one then. Which one's he going to do? Very cool. Okay, so hopefully you've enjoyed that this evening. So just to settle people's nerves, I said, oh, there were people taking off as I was landing and things like that. They may well have been multiplayer aircraft. I had multiplayer aircraft switched on. Look at the amount of traffic now. around the airfield. There's tons of it now. So if I press Shift and X and lift ourselves into the air, look at all the lights. That's all traffic. At different airfields and different routes, different SIDs, different stars. If we go and look on LittleNavMap, if I get rid of the route and the track, there's all those aeroplanes, look. We can see them in the night sky around us. There's someone just taking off there, look. Someone just coming in. It's very cool, isn't it? It's like a whole living world inside the simulator. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you all again soon. Okay, I'm going to go make a well-deserved cup of coffee, I think. Take care.